For Biden, I think there's been the challenge of not being able to be out on the campaign trail, which usually at this point in the campaign, if you have a presumptive nominee from the other party, that person is out there campaigning vigorously by the time we get to June, which is the start of the summer here in the U.S. Usually the candidates are out there. For him, he hasn't been able to get out there nearly as much. He hasn't been able to say nearly as much given the coronavirus crisis. So for Joe Biden, it's been a challenging time, to be sure. And I do think the big issue is going to be how much of this coronavirus issue, how much of the issue of the racial tension we're seeing in the U.S. now carries over to vote choice when we get to November. With U.S. political cycles, things move and they turn over so quickly. It's very hard to see these issues maybe being the exact same issues that are going to animate voter decision-making when we get to November.
So what is your own expectation? What do you think would be the primary factor that would drive voters' decisions as we go into the second half of this year and start counting down towards elections in November?
I still think it's going to be the economy. And the role of the economy in U.S. presidential elections is well documented. Not just the U.S. economy specifically, but the trend that the economy is on as we go into Q3, as we move toward November. That's really the most important factor. If you look back to the two times incumbents have been involved in elections recently, in particular in 2012 when Barack Obama ran for re-election, and then before that when George H.W. Bush ran for re-election, their outcomes were disparate outcomes that were determined by the economy and by essentially the trend of the economy going into the election. So you had Bush going into the election with a weak economy, Obama going into the election with a improving economy, and that was basically the difference. So I tend to think that the economy is still going to be the key factor that we need to look at as we move toward the November elections.